pushing us live right now. Or we are already live. I am just about to put the link out in the world.
Cool.
Oh man, this is uncomfortable sitting like this.
Hmm,
It's the first time I've been sitting up since this morning.
That didn't work out like I wanted. There we go. I'm going with the vampire from the wrong part of New York tonight.
Oh god, you know what that's gonna cause, right?
Yeah.
Sweet brother Noonsy.
We watched the Mortuary Collection
Oh
last
shit.
night on Shudder. Have you watched that yet?
Hold on, there's a problem with the video. I'm gonna fix it. Videos live. Okay, it should be good now. I had it listed as private. Okay, carry on. What were you saying?
Have you seen the Mortuary Collection on Shudder yet?
No, what is that?
It's a new anthology movie, but it has the dude Clancy Brown, who is in all sorts of stuff like Carnival and is Mr. Krabs. Was the Kurgan in the Highlander. It's pretty good.
Alright, so I did not have enough energy to bring my laptop out here. So link is out. I'm really liking my lady here, my ham lady. I don't know if there's something else I want to change it to. I'm not really a big like vampire movie person.
Yeah.
The closest thing to vampire, I mean, Interview with the Vampire, I really love, but also like Monster Squad. That's kind of just like a silly.
Yeah. I freaking love What We Do in the Shadows. That's like my favorite vampire thing going right now.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. Faux show.
If you haven't watched it, the TV show is worth going and watching on Hulu. It's hilarious. It's just as good as the movie, if not better.
Yeah, I have heard that. It looks funny. I was watching Hill House 2, which I just call it because I cannot remember the other name.
Oh,
I kind of fell off on it, though.
What's that?
I kind of fell off on it.
Yeah,
Like, I haven't finished it yet. I should go back, but kind of didn't grab me the way the other one did.
It's not bad, but it's just not as good as the first one was. I mean, that's hard to follow up, too, though.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I think he probably did the smart thing, which is try to do something a little different. But it's just so much.
And it was just a turning of the screw.
It's so much less emotionally impactful for me, at least so far. Like, I'm sure he brings it around in the end. But every episode of Hill House was like being punched in the balls with feelings.
Exactly. That's what I was saying last week. Hill House was full of emotional.
It was a gut punch.
It's just not there now.
In a really, like, not even a cheap way, just really effectively every episode.
Right.
Okay, I gotta make sure. I'm gonna do the chat on my phone. I gotta make sure I have it. what is it called? Hangouts? Oh, we need one without CC, right?
Ew.
John, Joe, Casey.
What's up, Dills Newfist?
I just found a chat that just was the three of us. Let me know if you guys were already in one or if that's okay what I just pinged. What's up, John?
If it's a chat, I'm sure it's fine.
The Chad was delicious. Rio, whoa. He said one more shot ought to do it. One more.
Yeah, John, this new camera features my beard much more nicely.
There you go.
Next
So
time,
it's
shut
set
up.
up. All right.
Oh, you got a new camera?
Yeah.
But this is 592, right?
Stand by. I gotta...
Next time, shut down. Right? 12-hour shift was the last one we did, right?
That sounds right.
Cece wasn't on this show, was she?
I don't know. Dude, it's great.
She was on 12-hour shift, I thought.
I
Was
want
she?
to mention...
Was she?
Okay, I want to mention...
No, she didn't. She canceled at the last minute, didn't she? She got sick.
Yeah. Babe stuff.
Big stuff.
The slackers that are helping me with episode 500 are like fucking killing it.
I mean 600.
Yeah, I keep saying 500,
Uh-huh.
but like most of the work is done already of like 100 episodes, like listening through it and marking a ton of notes, like filling in shit we didn't fill in, and it's great. It's fucking awesome. I'm really excited.
We got a band in our row. One more shot. Get it?
Do you guys hear that?
Beer guts.
Fuck yeah.
Yep.
Boogie down Bronx. Oh, yeah, oh, Manhattan. Oh, yeah,
Oh, I don't know if you can see. I'm covering Casey's face right now. I don't know if you can see Joe there, but I told Casey that he knew what he was doing with that background image, right?
Yeah.
No?
No.
You're
It's
not,
not
get it.
triggering it.
What?
isn't that
Sweet Brother Noonsy.
isn't that Sweet Brother Noonsy? That's not him, but isn't
No.
that the movie?
No.
That is not that movie, and you
No.
are racist.
What movie
That's
is it?
a
Yeah.
vampire in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
What other movie
Sweet
was
Brother
that character
Noonsy's-
in?
Isn't it Trading Spaces? Or,
Golden Child. The Golden
uh,
Child.
Oh, I thought it was a horror. Okay, I had never seen it, so I just thought it was a horror movie.
Yeah.
Oh, you've never seen The Golden Child?
No.
It is horror-esque. You would love it.
There's like
You should
fantasy
definitely check it out.
elements. It's not really. I don't know. I
Oh,
Interesting.
haven't
there's
seen
spooky. There's spooky stuff. There's a demon. There's
it. Dude, I saw the movie when I was legit like 8 years old
Demons?
with my grandfather. So
Demons are spooky.
I think I saw the
there's
Golden Child at the drive-in.
I want the knife. Oh, you guys both have to check it out. It's awesome. Not even like, sarcastically. Like, it's legit a funny, good movie.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
there was never a time where I said it wasn't a good movie. Just to be clear.
He never did
That's
say he
what
didn't
I
believe it.
heard, John. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went with the vampire in Brooklyn background though to play up my Indiana-ness, because Brooklyn and the Bronx are about the same thing, right?
Well,
Don't say that.
that'll get you in some trouble.
No, don't say that.
Depending. But
Not from anybody near me.
probably not.
Okay, you got me there, bro. Fair.
Boogie down Bronx. Oh, yeah, oh, Manhattan. Guantanamera. Juanita. Guantanamera. You guys remember the Carnival? Wyclef Jean? The Carnival?
Yeah, dude.
Mhm.
Oh, that album
A lot of fun.
slaps,
Mhm.
as the kids say.
Mhm.
I do not think the kids say that. I don't think they
I
do.
do.
Well,
They
the ones
definitely
like over the age of like 35 say that, I think.
Kids. How do I
Those kids.
close this menu?
Boogie down
what the
Bronx.
Where's the? Okay, Skype. What the fuck? Grid view, modern grid preview.
Are we just like listening to you play with your computer now, or what's?
Yeah, more or
Jimmy
less.
Ch-
Well, no, I can't get the fucking settings. Oh, there it is. That was weird. Oh, but I got a full
Sounds-
screen now. There we go.
Don't be stirred by the rocks that I got. I'm still Jenny from the block.
It's true. You are.
Southside Bronx.
Okay. I believe you. All right. Joe, thank you for your notes. That was wonderful on what we should be talking about.
Hey.
Do you
Oh
think?
yeah, I gotta pull up the results.
I think maybe we'll skip. We'll skip Cameo this week, or do you want to hit it up since we're just, like rolling into the
We
election
should mention
here?
it because
Well, no, I don't mean mentioning. I mean playing one.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Unless
no,
it
I'm
was
totally
like
cool with that.
a real barn burner we need to play. I mean, I know they all
mean,
are. I guess my question is, how are we doing on like questions, Instagram and shit?
Instagram we didn't. I gotta check now. We didn't have a ton on Twitter.
Guys, if we had a show that was only like an hour and 20 minutes, I think we'd be all right.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
having
yeah,
trouble.
we can fill up space.
I'm having
There's no
trouble
concerns
sitting,
there.
so yes, same.
Eric, how are you feeling? BT dubs.
Tender? That's
Yeah.
probably a
Are
good
we
word.
live? Like,
We're live.
my
yeah,
question
we're
is,
fully
Eric,
live.
what was the Oh, all right. What was the reasoning behind this decision?
I don't think you and I need to discuss that, Joe. Is the answer to that question.
You shared with the class. You
Yeah.
can't give the Jeopardy answer without the question.
Well, certainly not live on the stream. Let's put it that way.
I'm guessing you could probably figure it out.
Right. Yeah, it was voluntary. Let's say that.
I assumed it was court ordered.
Good lord. Okay. All right. We are recording and I'm ready. Let's do it. Stand by.
Welcome to Bloody Good Horror.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Bloody Good Horror. My name's Eric, and I'll be your host for this evening, where we will be reviewing Vampires versus Brooklyn. I don't.
No.
What?
No.
What?
The
Bronx.
Bronx.
The Bronx.
Good.
Okay. I blame
God.
Casey. Casey, raise your hand, buddy. I blame him for that, for putting that in my head right before the show. It is a horror comedy on Netflix. That's what we're going to do here coming up real soon. First up, joining me tonight, the culprit of that little mess up. I'm going to blame this on you. Please welcome Casey to the show.
Hello.
Next up, from The Block, I guess, based on his background image tonight, please welcome Joe to the show.
Boogie down Bronx, as the kids say.
That's right. Joe, weirdly better versed in 80s and 90s hip hop than any of us.
Well,
I don't know why
I
that's
am what I am.
weird, but
Well,
Yeah.
I think if you look at me, John,
Joe
people
gets
wouldn't
it.
say that guy. But you know,
And next up on the show, I think coming in hot tonight with a really interesting look that I will describe as just got back from a 311 concert. He's the
I would say Third Eye Blind.
Third-
would be
I know.
more
I'm
of a-
thinking. I'm thinking puddle of mud.
Puddle of Mud, dude.
Yeah.
Yes, Casey nailed it.
That's
Um,
that's good.
Surprisingly, based on his appearance, the business manager at bloodygoodhorror.com. Please welcome John Schnars to the show.
Hello, Eric.
So, can you lean in and say that louder, John? I don't think the people in the back are.
Eric.
Why is your mic so low, John?
It's not low. I think I was just talking low. Maybe I don't know.
Get your beautiful mouth closer to that mic, please.
Is this working for you?
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Hi, how long have we been doing
I
this?
gotta turn up the gain on this. I'm gonna
Yes.
turn the gain up.
Please, thank you. Yeah, we are here tonight to talk about Vampires versus the Bronx, which is a movie on Netflix. But first, before we do that, like we do every week, Joe, please tell us what we are drinking tonight.
Beer guts.
Vampires versus the Bronx, a movie that surprisingly I learned was filmed in Brooklyn for the most part,
see?
which broke my heart. But yeah, I think maybe it was just your keen eye, Eric. Was like, no, that looks more
I'm picking this
Brooklyn-esque.
out here.
I know that that Italian ice cart. That's definitely in Brooklyn. So no, the movie tackles a lot of topics. One of them is gentrification, obviously, and one of the first signs that your neighborhood is getting gentrified is breweries pop up. And
Right.
in honor of that, I picked a beer from the Bronx Brewery, which you can probably guess where that's from. The Bronx, John. This is their it's just Bronx American Pale Ale, which I believe, I could be wrong, is their flagship beer. So these guys, not been around for a long time. I want to like a year or two before we moved away, they started to sprout up. So like maybe 10 years or so. I'm sure you probably saw their stuff around the city, John, before you abandoned.
Well
and-
distributed in the 5 boroughs, I would say. Yes.
Yeah. And it's a great beer. The other stuff, I haven't had much of theirs because they obviously don't distribute very far, but the stuff I had was very good. This one comes in at 6.3% alcohol, which is a little high for the style. So it'll get you where you're going. Like most pale ales, or I've obviously talked about a ton of IPAs, probably not as many pale ales, but you get that hot bite here, but there's a nice like malt balance to it. So it's not, so like punchy in the face with the hops and the bitterness and all that. Like it's very well balanced. I want to say it's great for like a fall day when things are getting crisp because you get that caramel in the malt. So, you just all around have a great time. The BronxBrewery.com is their website, as you could probably guess. And they, I unfortunately, like I said, we don't get them out here, but I liked everything I had, and I would love to partake in their others. So give them a try because they've already ruined the Bronx. So there's no going back now. And
That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it for me.
All right, Joe. Thank you for that. Let's take a quick break and talk about Vampires versus the Bronx.
This is it, Senator. Your big break in TV. From the prime time. Main feature.
And we're back. John Schnars.
Eric.
I think Casey might have nailed it. Like Puddle of Mud. You look like the lead singer of Puddle of Mud now.
A little bit, yeah.
How does that feel?
I'm familiar that there was a band called Puddle of Mud. I'm not so familiar with their music. Were they like a Christian rock group?
No, what is
Different
their
story.
She Hates Me?
Yeah.
She fucker hates me.
That one too.
Okay.
That one
All
too.
right.
Yeah, that was the.
All right.
You'd know it
The
if you
feather
heard it.
duster going in the
They had
back.
like like backwards hat, curly like greasy
So,
white
like,
guy hair in
like
the back.
cool, like pretty, like cool,
Like a
dudes,
cool
is
dude,
what
yeah.
you're saying.
Sure,
Yeah.
John.
It's very like if Kid Rock got more white trash.
Yeah.
Like
I think that's a good way to, that's a good way to put
like,
it.
I guess
Come
if
on.
he had a band.
That is
It's
not
not
possible.
possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if his cousin was also into
Yeah.
music, but
Like, what
you
is-
know,
That's a good
distance
call.
himself
Yeah,
a little
like
bit.
Like, what does your wife
Yeah.
say when you walk in the room looking like you do this evening?
I mean, listen,
Are there comments happening?
we've made it this far, Eric. It's a slow
It's a-
transition for her, you know. So
Yeah.
It's,
Like she's
It's
just
like
gonna she's gonna wake up
Kid
one day and be
Rock,
like, "What
red
the?"
with a Confederate flag. That would
Have
be.
your
part of my
in-laws
life.
have your in-laws started reminding you that you need to take care of the bushes today up front and
Yeah.
do the
Like,
gardening?
do you know
and-
what it is, Joe? And I think Joe's gonna really feel me on this. Like, you're starting to really weirdly remind me of a bunch of people that I grew up with in upstate New York. Like,
Yeah.
you definitely own an ATV. Like, you have gone mudding before. Like, I know this about you.
It's very un-John, I think, is what we're getting at. Like,
yeah.
we're used to you in like cardigans and like.
Like your winter
you know,
jacket. Like
button-down suits.
you own at least one Carhartt jacket. And
Yeah.
I actually own a Carhartt vest.
Nah, it
Not
doesn't
a
count.
jacket.
I'm talking like the
Okay.
brown, like the fucking burlap sack Carhartt jacket. That
Yeah.
just like
Yeah, that's the
Like,
vest I had. But,
Yeah.
you know.
I don't really remember before times COVID-wise at this point, John, but I'm pretty sure you used to show up to the show in like full suits. And I think just things that I think that's what we're getting at.
Oh, yeah, you know,
like
whatever works.
I
It's-
can't tell because of the headphones, but do you have a single cigarette behind your ear right now by any chance? Because if so, then,
Oh,
I'll-
yeah.
then I'm tapping out right
that
now.
would not fly.
You're-
That would cause problems.
Your connection's shitty. Do you have a lipper in? I can't tell.
Dude, yes. Yes, let me see that cup, buddy. All
Are
right,
you-
John.
Yeah.
This
No,
next
the
part,
Snapple bottle that you're spitting in. Let's
this next part, like if this is somebody's first show, this next part is going to be very confusing for them. But John, please bring us the word of the day. Get ready to blow some first-time listeners' minds right now.
Eric, today's word. It's gentrification.
Ah, okay.
Mm-hmm. Joe kind of, stole my thunder, as he's wont to do
Wow.
in these situations. The process whereby the character of a poor urban area is changed by wealthier people moving in, improving housing, and attracting new businesses,
Yes,
typically
John.
displacing current inhabitants in the process.
The song of your people.
I gotta tell you, John, we'll get into it, but my wife 100% called you out for being a part of the problem.
You know, she and I can talk about it. I would say I made 3 years up on in Wash Heights, and we were
Yeah.
not the vanguard. Let's put it that way. There was no changing while we were there.
Have you
So-
or have you
No,
ever
you
not?
know.
Have you ever not purchased nut milk at a bodega?
Hmm.
I don't know that I've ever purchased nut milk. Period.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Oh, well, I've done that.
I have to.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't have a etymology here. There's like a very long Wikipedia article that's probably like highly contentious if people want to read that. It looks like the date here is around 1960, so I'm assuming this was sort of coined as part of urban studies becoming more of a topic in academia, if I had to guess. But if someone can find an etymology, God bless you.
Sure, I didn't understand any of those words.
Okay. Do we want to talk about the Bronx?
Tell me
and
about.
vampires?
Yes, John. Please tell me everything you know about the Bronx. Tell me about vampires versus the Bronx. Actually, is what I'd like.
Sure. Yeah. Vampires versus the Bronx, directed by Oz Rodriguez. Osmani is his real name. He goes by Oz here. Also, he did the story here with a screenplay by Blaze Hemingway.
Nice.
Oz Rodriguez, I believe this is his first full-length feature film. Most well-known for directing a bunch of TV. So he did like AP Bio for people who have seen that show.
Oh, nice.
Last Man on Earth. He was pretty involved with, it looks like. And then Saturday Night Live, he's kind of gone back for like, a decade plus. So
Lauren Michaels, I think, was a producer on this. I
yeah,
saw.
it's a Broadway video joint, which is the Lorne, I don't know, studio or what have you, production shingle. Yeah, I mean, so it's a somewhat straightforward story. I mean, it's basically a I would say faithful, not retelling of Dracula necessarily, but it's a, vampires are sprouting up or suspected to be sprouting up. The big difference here is that the neighborhood where this is happening is the Bronx, and the subtext, and it's really not even subtext. You could really just call it straight text of the film, is that the vampires are essentially gentrifiers. So all of the sort of vampires who are moving into the neighborhood are doing so under the guise of an organization called Murnau Properties, I believe, or Murnau Development, something along
Murnau.
those lines.
Get it, John?
Yeah. It's.
I mean,
for
listen, I say that.
reference.
I knew that was a thing. I had to look up exactly what it was, but I knew that
So
was like
F.W. Murnau, I believe, is the
he
direct.
directed Nosferatu.
Nosferatu?
Yeah. Also, fun fact that I learned about F.W. Murnau: he died in his early 40s, driving in California. His driver was described on Wikipedia as a 14-year-old Filipino servant who fucking wrapped the car around a fucking electric pole, and he died in the hospital the next day at like 43.
Isn't this how Temple of Doom originally ended? Like, wasn't
Right.
that the,
Dude, that was my
the
first thought was
director's cut?
Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, Murnau. Well, and fast forward, he lent his name to the property developers, the real estate developers in this film. So, the main character is Miguel. What's the nickname? Miggy Mayor or something
Little
like
Mayor.
that. Little Mayor.
Little
something like that.
Mare, yeah.
And so Miguel he's like a ninth grader, maybe like eighth grader. He has friends Bobby and Luis. They are, Luis is sort of the nerdy one. Bobby is sort of the cool one who is being recruited by this sort of local gang leader. And then Miguel is kind of he's the guy everyone calls Little Mayor. We see him. He is organizing a block party to save the sort of neighborhood bodega. And that's sort of the context. So gentrification is kind of happening around them. Murnau Properties are buying up a lot of the local businesses, transforming them into all kinds of ridiculous things. Like the one that I remember is a butter shop. There's just it was going to sell butter.
Artisanal butter. That was my favorite by far.
There was a couple other, like, they kind of got more progressively ridiculous as the film
What's
went
the other
on.
one? It was just like a sign, and the guy from Saturday Night Live is like, I don't know, is it a clothing store or is it a restaurant? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, so he's trying to save the local bodega. The bodega owner is basically like, he's the adult male figure in these kids' lives to a certain extent. He's kind of provided them a place to hang out. There's video games in the back that he plays with them, but they all live in the neighborhood, and this is kind of their local bodega. So Miguel's trying to save it, and he basically, in the process of hanging up all these flyers, sees or thinks he sees a vampire. None of the vampires are given names. I don't think they're just sort of like skinny.
Did anyone notice that the dude featured most prominently looked just like Bronson Pinchot?
Yeah,
Yes.
he looks like a
In
20-year
in
earlier.
the most amazing way.
So his name's Adam David Thompson. He actually, if you pull up his IMDb, he looks nothing like Bronson Pinchot, but yeah.
Huh.
The way they did him up, it's uncanny.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, I don't know. So I mean, like, that's the setup, and so the rest of the film really becomes about these three friends, both trying to convince the rest of the neighborhood that vampires are sort of settling into the Bronx, and then also, prevent themselves from being straight up murdered. So there you go.
Okay, Joe, what do you think?
I loved this movie. It's interesting because my wife grew up in Washington Heights. Her father lives in the Bronx. Actually, a lot of what I was texting you guys when we first started watching, and a lot of like sort of the, B-roll footage at the beginning is like right around where his apartment is. So I actually thought, like, holy shit, like this whole thing's filmed like a block away from where he lives. But looking it up, it was more in Brooklyn. But there was definitely, especially on my wife's part, like a huge nostalgia thing, like watching this, like even like the the Italian ice carts and like a few like the bodegas and stuff. Like she was like having a ball with this. And then, it kind of rolls into this, I don't think Attack the Block is like a perfect comparison, but it's definitely like something bad's happening in our neighborhood and the kids have to figure out how to fix it. So, it works pretty well. But I really enjoyed it. Like I joked around with John, and I kind of went back and forth that, like, I honestly feel like this could have not been a vampire movie and just been a movie about gentrification, and I still would have loved it because like I think they just nailed it so well. And John, I think you brought up the point that like they don't just say like, all right, there's a coffee shop moving in. Like they kind of show there's people living in this community, and especially a lot of the shop owners like see this as a good thing because like they're getting bought out and they can move out to the burbs. But like then on the flip side, there's these families that like, all right, well, we still have to live here, and now the local store where we could actually go buy groceries is a fucking butter shop, right? Like, so you've got that kind of going on in the background. And then like outside of that, I just thought like the vampires were a lot of fun, and like the actual horror elements were really well done. So I was a big fan.
Casey.
I have no connection to the neighborhoods in this movie. Just put that up front there.
Casey,
It looked like generic New York City to me.
Casey, we took you through Times Square that one time.
Yeah, well,
No,
that's not
sorry.
the Bronx, though, is it?
Sorry, correct.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. A,
You
B.
sound more out of touch now.
Listen,
Yeah.
I'm joking. A, B. I took you there because Schnars refused to.
Yeah. But I was going to say, I think I know enough that I wasn't anywhere near the Bronx, so when I went to Schnarz's house, that whole
We
time-
actually, the Upper East Side is actually pretty close to where this movie is shot. So
I'm more worldly than I thought. Yeah. No, I ended up liking this movie a lot. I would say I loved it. I know when I first, I'll throw out the caveat though that it took me a day to get to that point where I kind of loved it because of something what Joe said. I had read a couple of people compare this to Attack the Block, so that had set bad expectations in my head for this movie, thinking I was going to be getting a little bit more with over-the-top action and stuff that Attack the Block was. The Attack the Block comparison's not bad, but if you're thinking that means you're going to get more mayhem and chaos and crazy action, not quite there. That's what I had to wrestle with. Otherwise, I thought it was good. I thought the story was good. I thought the characters were good. The kids were all great. Some of the cameos and stuff were cool. See, like Zoe Saldana showed up there at the beginning and the end.
Yeah.
Some of these other folks that are in there, the vampires were good. I like that we got kind of a tie to Dracula and kind of the goofy modern gothic vampires that they gave us instead of the animalistic ones like 30 Days a Night or something like that. So it just added a lot of personality to it and really sucked you into watching these kids trying to chase them out of their neighborhood.
John.
yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed this as well. I think for me, the three kids were probably the biggest draw. I mean, I think to Joe's point, there's an element, and obviously we've talked about it a little bit. Like I used to live in New York. I had to relocate due to COVID pandemic times, and so like I was getting a little nostalgic. I didn't live in the Bronx, obviously, most recently. But as Joe mentioned, I did live in a neighborhood that was very heavily Dominican, and so like for 3 years, like
We get it.
Until John and his people moved there.
We
and
get
moved
it,
out.
John,
Yeah,
okay?
nice.
We get what you're
Let's be
saying.
perfectly clear.
Yeah.
till we gentrified all the Dominicans out. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's still pretty Dominican over there. But no, I mean, so like look, this movie felt very authentic, as Joe mentioned. And the kids were they're great kids. Like they're great. Like they're whether or not they are truly great actors or just the way that they're handled in the film as well as the scripting. I mean, like they did a great job, the actors did, and they're very well written. It felt very like the setting and the scenery felt authentic, but so did the relationships and the interactions that these kids were having. So yeah, I loved it. I thought it's not like knee slapping funny comedy, not all the time. There are certainly jokes.
There's some
I
good
think,
laughs, though, yeah.
No, there's tons of great moments, and there's a lot of like one-liners that mostly come from the secondary or tertiary characters.
Chris Red again, right?
yeah,
Like he
yeah.
was hilarious in this. Like, and
Well,
we talked
everything
about
he's
like
in.
I'm not a huge fan of his on Saturday Night Live, but like these two movies we watched, I think he's amazing.
I thought the kids were like shockingly funny.
They were really good. Well, Luis, the nerdy kid,
Yeah,
was
he kinda-
great.
He kind of
There's a whole bit that kind of winds throughout the film where, again, like there's always whenever there's like a monster movie like this, and to me the reference here is like, you guys mentioned a couple movies, but like Fright Night, or I think Eric, you had mentioned over email Monster Squad. Like it is very much a like, gang of kids has to survive
Yeah.
like spooky nonsense type setup.
Lost Boys, I think, is a really good comparison
Lost
too.
Boys too, yeah.
But I loved they reference Blade most
Yes,
heavily,
yes.
which is like sort of like
Dude,
mean,
that
if you
scene
go
where
to-
they watch him chop the dude in half and they're like, oh, like just their reaction to it was so funny.
Yeah. Well, and then there's a scene where the mom's yelling at the bodega owner for she's like, "Did you let them watch Blade?" I don't know. I mean, so I really enjoyed it. I would actually go back. I like really want to watch this again, and like I'm like anxious for my kids now to be able to know if I could show this to them without it being like
Yeah.
Yeah,
agree.
it's at a certain age for
Yeah.
sure because it is a little kind of violent and bloody in parts. Just for I mean, your kids are like super young, John.
Well, it's rated PG-13. Like
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not hard.
you could have easily seen this. I was thinking about this the other day. Like with a little bit of tweaking, like removing that blade scene where they show the dude getting cut in half. This could have been on Disney Plus. Like to me, this is like a family horror comedy movie.
Somewhat,
but-
yeah, I got.
No,
I
I
get
mean
what
I
you're
think
saying.
you could have easily
Yeah, yeah.
gotten it there. You know.
I
So-
I agree. Really, really enjoyed this movie. It hits the sweet spot for me of horror comedy, which is that I prefer a horror comedy where the horror is played kind of straight up and the humor comes from like situational humor in the characters. And that's what I like about this, even though there is kind of a goofy streak to some of the vampires, like those it's not full on like camp parody. Like those horror scenes are done sometimes really effectively. It's super funny. I think the tone reminds me of something like Monster Squad, but a lot more, let's say, politically correct for 2020. I do love there's this thread of like vampires as gentrifiers, and there's actually like there's a ton to dig into there. But what's great is that it doesn't feel like something just slapped in or separate from the plot. Like it's key to the plot. It is very well wrapped in with everything else so that it just feels like a part of it. Like it would be difficult, but you could choose not to engage with it if you wanted to. Like there's nothing heavy-handed with it, and yet it's still very clear what they're saying and very upfront if you're at all like paying attention on anything more than a surface level. And so in that sense, I think they're actually doing a kind of amazing balancing act between like pretty heady social commentary and a really fun horror comedy. Like it's actually rare, I think, that the tone of a horror comedy is nailed this well. And you also, I think, can't like I think that we watch this and think it's a really fun movie, but I think that I could totally see a kid seeing this, especially a kid who maybe doesn't see, nowadays would see more like representation, right, than he would have in 1980 watching a movie. But like he or she seeing this and really sticking with them, like I could see that. Like you can see this is tight enough where I think this could be a huge nostalgia thing for a kid if they saw it at a certain age, because it's so much fun. It's introducing you to the tropes. One of my favorite things about it is that it takes the vampire tropes and really uses them, and not just in a perfunctory like, hey, we just said the rules. It's like they state them early on. They come up repeatedly throughout the film. They dictate the way certain scenes play out, and they do in a really fun way. They kind of they don't rewrite them. They take the old rules and add things on top. Like the thing of the holy water bubble, like boiling is fucking brilliant. Like that's awesome. And that's a really great example of,
That was great.
they didn't just change the rules for the sake of making it new and changing it, but they were like, it's almost like Casey will feel me here. It's like a video game sequel. It's like they took an existing trope and we're like, we're just going to add this little twist to it to just like make it fun, you know?
Well, some of that stuff, even like you could even say like the holy water was borrowed from like Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, because one of the magic swords they got glowed when orcs were around, stuff like that.
I
So
wouldn't say that at all.
You just
Casey,
lost
but
Joe. You
I know
fully
you
lost
would.
Joe.
I'm saying I
I've
would.
been with a lady.
More than one. Okay.
No, Eric, your point though, like the representation point is pretty spot on, right? There's not many films, at least, that get this type of release or this type of sort of
Well, because it's
marketing
it's not
push.
just the casting, right? It's like
Oh.
the entire setting and culture is really unique and done in a way, like I think Joe was talking about the way like his wife reacted to it. Even somebody like me, like without having the experience, you immediately are like, the people who made this love this exact place and they are lovingly recreating it, because though you can tell by the way the camera, the establishing shots and the way the camera lingers on the details, like you feel that love coming through the way it's shot.
That was
Well,
the
it's
other
even-
thing I was going to say is really quick. Sorry, Joe.
No.
I mean, putting aside the racial, or cultural elements, like you don't see horror movies set in urban environments. Period. Like it just like we can list on like I don't know. There's like 10 movies maybe that we can come up with that are like set in city environments, and like there's a lot of reasons for that, but this is like a fairly straight up vampire movie set in a really unique environment. And to your point, yeah, like my guess is Oz Rodriguez. I mean, I didn't like look him up, but he's probably from the neighborhood. Like he knows this. It felt very authentic. It felt it was not. There was no put on here.
Yeah, that's all I was gonna say. Like, and honestly, I can't think of one specific moment right now, but like Leslie and I were both watching. There was like a lot of like references to stuff that only people that know the Bronx or like grew up there would get. Like just some of like the slang they use and like some of the terms. It's very like specific to that neighborhood, and like it happens in like half a second, and it doesn't take away if you don't know that. But like there was a few parts where I was like, oh yeah, like I've heard Leslie's dad say that. Like that makes sense. Like it was, and like again, like Leslie was just like beaming through this whole thing, which was awesome because like she very much like sort of attached to this. Like,
Joe,
she puts up with a lot of shit.
Joe, I would absolutely pay money to have been able to be there the first time you met her family.
Oh my God! So I was texting you guys last night. So the sort of opening shots, her father lives like 3 or 4 blocks from Yankee Stadium, and like
that's amazing.
The first time, like one of the first times I met her father, I took a train up by myself and then met Leslie at his apartment. And like, it's a great neighborhood, but definitely I was like, one of these things does not quite belong here.
You're like a super, you're like a super tall dude too. Like you can't blend in quite the way I can.
Well, like Bill Burr does this bit about when he was going up to meet his girlfriend in Harlem like years ago, and he's like, I'm shockingly Caucasian, which is like exactly what this was. Like, because I took the train from like Union Square, and like slowly like all the white people started to get off at the stops, and like by the end it was just like me and like 30 Puerto Ricans, and like I got out and I'm like, hey guys, what it is. Do. So, I mean, she was just like they really nailed it, which I loved, and like Leslie specifically, like really kind of attached to this just because of like how well they did it, like John was saying.
There's a lot of great like subtle gags about, like John was saying, the gentrification thing is done really well because it's really layered. Yeah. So this one main character owns a bodega, and he is like he's trying to fight to go out of business, but so he's trying to like appeal to these new people in town, and so but it's not ever like, it's kind of said out loud and jokingly later, but before that, every single scene they cut into the bodega, there's new stuff on the shelves if you're paying attention to the background. Like the first thing you really see is the like nut milk, and it's that specific really pretentious brand with the like little white cartons,
all white,
that says like milked walnuts or some shit like that. And then like the next scene you see hummus like in the background, and then but they add a new thing every time. And then he's got like, he calls it out later when the blonde one walks in, he's like, we got kale and like this other kind of kale.
And another kind of kale. Well, we should say the bodega owner is I'm gonna butcher it, Marrow from
from Daisy's Marrow.
Yeah. Which Cece's bummed she couldn't be on, but like she has like a huge thing for him.
Okay, so like I don't know what that is. Is that a podcast? Or
it's
a show?
Radio show.
It's a show. Okay.
And then that's where it started, I think. And then but yeah, it's like all over now.
They have a show of their own.
Got it.
They're great. Like I haven't watched a ton, but like the stuff I have is awesome.
Interesting.
Like I would recommend them highly.
That's a thing I've heard enough to know it's a thing, but not actually what it is.
I'm not cool like you, Joe, we got Shea Wiggum, I believe is his name. Wigham. He was the familiar.
Yes, I love that dude. Yeah, he's from Boardwalk Empire.
Boardwalk Empire, yeah.
Well, I was trying to think, didn't we just see him in something else? And then I realized I watched Perry Mason. He's in Perry Mason as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
but,
John, like, let's get into that.
Like old school style?
No, the new Perry Mason.
Oh, lame.
Oh, there's a new one?
Yeah,
it's
okay.
I'm more into like original Matlock, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Fair.
The wife and I have been banging through the original Murder, She Wrote, and it is bananas. Like, just a crime scene, and then this writer shows up and like, yeah, absolutely, you can go like touch shit.
Yeah.
In any event,
So Vampires versus Brooklyn.
yeah, I thought he was, so they basically, Joe was talking about shockingly white. Like they really did, I feel like, do a good job with these vampires of making them, pretty aggressive in appearance. Like they're all super, almost like Euro looking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
like
then you have like this woman-
90s vampire in a way that I liked. Like almost
Yeah.
what you might see in Blade, honestly, which is probably intentional.
Yeah, yeah. The main female, somewhat of a spoiler, vampire, Vivian. She's also excellent. I was trying to think
Yeah.
what else, because she's been in a ton of stuff, but I couldn't. I don't know if it was anything we've actually watched.
I saw her in a movie called Enemy with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah, the Villeneuve film.
Mm.
I really liked
Sure.
how they tied up everything thematically in this to the Dracula stuff with the Murnau and the
Yeah.
logo of the company on there.
Yeah.
The Shea Wiggum was a pretty near perfect Renfield.
Dude, like they
Jake.
even like poofed the hair up.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
are, like his hair. I want to know how they got it that tall. It was kind of amazing.
And he looked kind of dirty and twitchy and stuff like Renfield did, and he looked a little crazy if you gave him a chance to show it.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like this isn't. I didn't mean to imply this is like a straight Dracula thing, but there's a lot.
Yeah,
if you're
they did a good
familiar.
job with it.
Yeah, that they're pulling in. How did you all feel about Method Man? Because I'll say
It's
I felt like he
bizarre.
was mostly underused until the like very end when he like goes to battle with.
I
his,
like the scene where they saw him
staff.
like peep his eye open and notice the kids were gone in the church.
Yeah, he was good as
Yeah.
the minister, but I expected him to be a bigger part of it, to be honest. Spoiler.
He is not a great actor.
No,
Like, he
he's
is
really
not
not.
what
No,
he
he
does.
isn't.
And like, I love Method Man. Like, I'm a huge fan. But Leslie and I looked at his IMDb last night, and I'm like, how many fucking movies is this guy in? And is he still delivering lines like this? Like, how have you not gotten better at what you do? Like, How High is a great movie.
I mean-
I feel like he's gotten worse.
It's because he's not. He's not really like an actor.
Was he acting in that? Like,
Yeah, I guess that's true.
yeah, I don't know. He's in The Deuce. Do you watch The Deuce?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, so yeah. Flip side, he was awesome on that. Yeah, I love
But
him.
again, like that to me, like so the whole joke here is he's not a minister. He is an actual priest, Casey.
Yeah.
Because they're Catholics, I believe. And so it's basically like I don't want to call it stunt casting. I mean, it is a comedy, so it's sort of intentional.
Well, that's what's really wild too. Like I was just kind of turning over my head. Like some of the things that it's insane the tone they're able to maintain when you really think about some of the things the characters say out loud in this movie. Like this Renfield-esque dude in particular, at one point looks at this kid and says, "It's really easy to move in and take over a neighborhood when like nobody notices when you disappear," or something like that. It's like, whoa, dude, or like
Well,
nobody cares when you die or some shit like that. And it's like,
but that was
but it's
that was,
very
like,
That's part of the theme, though.
but
too.
but I understand, like, but that's what I'm saying. It's like very pointed cultural criticism in a way that's like very heavy, but it's like somehow manages to also coexist in this like pretty light, fun movie. It's kind of, I mean,
Yeah.
it's perfect, right? Like, those are the movies that to me are like perfect vehicles for social commentary. Like, it's when we talk about a lot
Yeah.
of those 80s B movies that had a lot of social commentary. This is even more pointed than that, right? But like those movies sort of, you could well, in a different time, you could watch those movies and not know that stuff, and then look back on one of your favorite movies later and be like, oh shit, like holy crap, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like that
Yeah.
Trojan horse kind of thing.
And they did a good job with getting this message in here and working it in so it fit and was a good part of it. Didn't feel like they were beating you over the head with it, like some of the movies we watched have, when they're like, "Oh, look how terrible it is." They made it natural and flow, and you could see why it was bad.
Right.
So the funny part to me about that, because I agree, like I think the script here is actually like pretty deft. The other writing credits, let me just read to you. So the screenwriter here is this guy Blaze Hemingway. His previous film,
just apropos of nothing, I'm changing my name to Blaze.
yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
fine. His previous film is Playmobil, the movie.
Oh yeah.
He is in post-production on, as writer, Clifford, the big red dog.
Oh,
And this one, I legit, like, I laughed when I saw this. his forthcoming. This is announced on IMDb. The Settlers of Catan movie.
Oh.
Wow, holy shit. So this dude got
Wait, the game from Parks and Rec?
this guy got roped into
Yes.
some kind of
No.
like Fisher Price like board game situation, right? Because
But these are his only films. Like he has no other.
That's
He's
wild.
listed as uncredited on a movie called Ugly Dolls. But otherwise, he's done this Vampires versus the
So
Bronx.
what do we-
And then
do we think the Clifford movie's like a mix of live action and CGI or something?
Oh.
no,
Wait.
I think it's coming out soon. It's on, or no, it actually says a year. But it's
So,
like. Go ahead.
what is Settlers of Catan? It's that. What's the game that everyone played on Parks and Rec?
It's like
that
a
what's his
big-
name
something
made?
like Cones
No,
and
they.
Knights
So
or
I
something
just listen.
like
I
that.
just watched this episode at Ben's bachelor party on Parks and Rec. He
Mm.
makes them play Settlers of Catan.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like
It's a very popular.
it's
board
like a
game.
very over.
Ah,
It's like an
I thought it was
overly.
like a goof. Like
No,
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 it's a
it's
real
like
thing.
it's like an overly complicated nerd version of Risk or something.
No.
Yeah.
It's actually like because I played a lot. It's a like much
Oh,
simpler
boy.
like version. Like Risk is like way more complicated.
Oh,
than
interesting. Okay,
Settlers of Catan, yeah.
interesting.
It's-
literally, like as you said that, another Dominican person had to move out of the neighborhood because of you, John. Like as those words came out of your, as those words came out, my father-in-law got booted out of his
Joe,
apartment.
first of all, I only ever lived in Washington Heights, never the Bronx. And
Oh, God.
yeah, I mean, when I left, it was 2008.
Yeah,
There's no blood on my hands. Is all I'm saying. Or gentrification.
Questionable.
I'm just saying. When my wife's family left, they could have afforded to live there, and then you moved in, and now they can't, John. So that's all I'm saying.
Oh Lord.
Does your father-in-law have a doorman, Joe?
No, no, absolutely
Oh,
not.
is there a pool on the roof of his apartment building?
I mean, if you count like collected water, I
Like
assume.
puddles?
like-
Yeah,
Like you could bathe. There's
Yeah.
yeah. I say this for listeners that don't know because these are things that I may or may not have witnessed at John Schnarr's
Yeah,
house once.
well, that's fair. Eric, only one of us is living with our in-laws right now. All right, I'll just lay that out
okay.
on the table
That's
for
fair.
you.
I'm not
So,
judging, bro. I'm just saying
yeah.
it's a good movie and it's very funny. I did like I loved the there's this kind of thread. It kind of gets dropped for a while, but this thread how he's got this crush on this older girl. There's a really funny scene early on where he's trying to like spit game to her, and then his mom's yelling at him out the window about like, "You sure you don't need a babysitter?" And then it comes all really great full circle in a really great way where they kind of play against expectations at the very end
Yes.
of like what you thought was going to happen. It's really great.
How did you all feel about the social media sort of whatever the hell you call like?
Yeah, I liked it. I thought she was funny, and also honestly, like after seeing Spree, I have infinite tolerance for any of that stuff. Because like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I rolled my eyes pretty hard out of the gate, but I actually like came to really like it by the end. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is.
I
this
kind
new-
of, it's interesting. Like they do such a great job of making this place feel like alive and breathing and interconnected. Like they show how when you live in a neighborhood like this, everyone is kind of connected to one another. And so to me, she is kind of like a modern extension of that. Because she's almost just like a walking gossip show about what's going on in this neighborhood, you know?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how
But I
like how everybody in the neighborhood's keeping up.
Like outside of, I don't know. I think as opposed to Spree, it didn't feel like comical is not the right word, but it didn't feel like forced and like over the top. Like
Well, it's also
Yeah.
kind
like
of
John said.
because it's done well. It's kind of an interesting way
Yeah.
to it's kind of interesting way to add like info dumps at certain points, like not huge stuff, but just update you on kind of where people are and what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't everybody in New York City walk around live streaming on their day every day?
They're playing Pokemon Go.
There it
Ah.
goes. Better Pokemon go to the polls.
Nice. I like that, Joe. That's pretty good.
So yeah, I liked it.
good times.
Yeah, I really like the kid. I think it was Luis, the young nerdy kid. It honestly made me think of you, Joe, when I first saw his ghost shirt
Oh God.
in the
yeah,
big
he was-
glasses.
What do they call him? The Puerto Rican Harry Potter.
Yes, dude, that was very funny.
Yeah. No, he was great. All the kids were great. Like the whole thing was just so well done. I loved it.
I agree. John, you were like in your so I confess I did not fully read all of your email, but did you have a beef in the first email, or is it resolved and we don't need to go into it?
No, I think we are. I no beefs.
Okay.
Mm.
Where's the
Where's
beef?
the beef, Joe?
Still looking.
Beefy.
I stopped eating beef, John. It's not good for you.
Come on.
Yeah. We agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're on your own this one, Eric.
Yeah. What do you make your burgers with, Eric?
Turkey.
I don't want to know. No, we're good here.
We're good.
Don't even fucking answer.
I mean, I guess, is that it? Is that all we have to say about this movie?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
it's approaching 8 o'clock, 9 for you guys.
All right. Would you recommend Vampires versus the Bronx, Joe?
No, not at all. Fuck that. No, absolutely. I loved it. It was
Okay.
great.
Oh, I'm gonna need my top 10 list, Joe, for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you actually if you're.
Casey,
Yeah, I'd recommend it.
John.
Yes.
Okay. That's gonna do it. Super thumbs up. 4 thumbs up from BGH crew. Let's take a quick break and do some fan mail.
End of summer blues got you down? Well, you're in luck, because here comes the Chuck. Chucky's back.
I'm new and improved.
No, you're dead. We killed you. Wrong again, wimp.
A haircut ain't regulation, soldier.
Regulate this.
Child's Play 3, rated R. Starts Friday, August 30th at theaters everywhere.
I'm Ray Wise from Twin Peaks, and you are listening to Bloody Good Horror.
Send feedback to info@bloodygoodhorror.com or on Twitter using hashtag AskBGH. Join Patreon to get back episodes and much more. Patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror.
And we're back. John, I have to confess, I've been sitting here pretty much the whole time trying to workshop other things that this character you look like might do or wear or say. Like, do you drive?
And what have you come up with?
Really, all I came up with is that I feel like you drive a Cavalier.
I drive a Honda Odyssey.
No, not you, John. I mean you, like this
Oh, yeah,
dude.
no,
Yeah, like
Okay.
maybe
All I could think of.
like maybe a neon, like a 90s neon with like the CD, like a Discman sitting on your front seat with like the tape and the tape player.
No, it's like the
You are.
thing in the back where
The
you have
6 CD
a
change.
bunch of CDs, yeah, or DVD or CDs, yeah.
You had your
You
back
are
you had your back seat removed so you could put a big ass woofer in there.
Mhm.
So when I have to
I
ride in your
drove-
car, I have to sit on
I
top
drove a
of it.
neon.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're from the
it's
same
good.
town, Joe. I understand.
It was a nice car.
Yeah. Oh, John. Sweet John.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
You
right.
look great, John.
This weekend, you guys, we're doing some fun Halloween stuff for our patrons.
Mm-hmm.
It's exciting, but we can't tell you what it is. So if you want to know, patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror. If you want to hang out with us for Halloween, or let's say the weekend before Halloween. John, I think you are going to be very excited about my costume.
Ooh,
Are you
my
dressing
costume should be here tomorrow.
Nice.
Mm.
Casey, what about you, buddy?
I don't know. I'll figure it out by the time we go live.
Casey's one of those dudes who has shit in his house. Like I know this. about
Yeah,
him.
I'll figure. So I'll
Yeah.
put something together.
Joe, you still the lone holdout?
Yeah. No, I'm not doing that.
Great. Really get in the spirit here.
Gotcha.
Patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror. Another shout. A bunch of patrons right now. I'm kind of got some like plans in the works for like an episode. Oh, nice, Casey. For
there you go.
what I want to do for episode 600, and it involved a ton of legwork I couldn't do by myself. So a bunch of patrons are hooking me, like they're helping out, crowdsourcing some of this research. So I'm pretty excited, and they're all going to get shout outs on the show when that comes out. So get excited for that. Joe, as far as like current things going on at BGH, we just had what seemed to me to be a pretty successful another 5K. Is this our third October one?
This was the third and the first time we've done a 10K. And full disclosure, I was really nervous about turnout for this one because we're obviously in the middle of a pandemic. Nobody's motivated to do anything. Even I wasn't like super motivated to promote this thing. But yeah, we had a great turnout again. I want to say as many, Americans as usual. Not as many outside the U.S., but I assume just because they don't want our feeds getting into their clean neighborhoods. But yeah, so we did a 5K and a 10K. John did a 10K, so his title of fastest 5K has been handed over to one Mr. Adam Obaza. I'm probably saying his last name wrong, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying his full name. But
a new winner.
Yeah, Long Beach, California. He finished 21 minutes and 59 seconds in the 5K, which
Damn.
unfortunately I have like last year's. John still beat your time last year, but not by much.
What about this year?
And then the 10K, unfortunately, John had the fastest time of the 10K with 40 minutes, 51 seconds. The first sort of non-BGH, Ben Schultz, came in at 47 minutes.
Like a
and he's from Georgia.
I mean, is it fair though? Is it fair that Schnarz's body is naturally hairless? Shouldn't that disqualify him?
Well, he does a lot of cocaine too. So I mean, it doesn't.
Oh, this
Does
dude
that help with running? If I had known, I would have started earlier.
This dude with this hair, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, I want to thank everyone who came out and did it. I went out and did it Saturday morning. I was feeling like garbage, but I felt like I had to like knock it out. I did the 10K. Luckily, not a ton of 10K participants, so I still came in the top 10. I think because there was only like 8 or 9 people that actually did it. Like the majority of folks did the 5K. So yeah, I'm putting together medals and everything. Those are, we wanted to wait to see how many people did it before we ordered. So it'll be a while before you get yours, but they're definitely on their way. And anybody outside the U.S., I've already kind of contacted you, but like we'll send you like a back episode or something.
I mean, 10K when you run as slow as I do is like a fucking commitment. Like you got to block out a half a day for that shit, like to get ready and do it and then recover.
Yeah, I mean, so we had folks that walked it. Our good friends Jamie and Matt just took their dog for a walk around the city and tracked it.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's the best.
Yeah, so there's no, I'm not gonna bother eating anybody's time. There's no shame.
No, it's great. Like as someone who's walked it multiple times too. What's great about these ones we do in October are like, it's just a really good excuse to go out and explore a little bit and see what kind of spooky stuff is around you. Like what people's decorations or like, Matt and Jamie living in the city. I'm sure they saw some cool like spooky shit. So it's just fun. They found a Sour Patch Kids store.
Yeah,
an entire store.
That was a thing, and now I want to go.
An entire store of Sour Patch Kids shit. It blows my mind.
That's why I got to get back to New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gentrification at its finest.
Yeah.
Your neighborhood's getting fucking blown up by
yeah. If you have a Sour Patch, if you have a Sour Patch Kids store in your neighborhood, gentrification is the least of your
yeah. I say if you're struggling to pay rent and then all of a sudden a Sour Patch Kids store opens up, like just fucking start looking for it.
Yeah, look out for the fucking tourists. Like
it's not gonna get better anytime soon.
My thing about Sour Patch Kids is like, I guess I remember eating them as a kid and kind of liking them. It's not a very pleasant experience.
No, they're delicious.
I'm a fan. I enjoy the wife is a bigger fan than I am, but like the sour watermelons, those are chef's kiss.
It's too much, dude. Too much
choice.
Hey Joe, can we bust out my top 10 list here? As long as we're just
I got it right in front of me. Do you want to hear what you have so far?
Yeah, give it to me, buddy. I think I forgot. I think there's something else I got to put on there too.
I don't know about that.
Just like inventing movies.
No, there was a week. No, there was a week when we forgot to do it. I remember. I gotta look. Carrie, go ahead, Joe.
I don't know if I'd say we, but all right.
We're in this together,
right.
Joe.
So you have a full top 10 right now. Host, and I was reading these, and some of these I don't even remember, but Host, Relic, The Invisible Man, The Rental, Come to Daddy, Becky, VFW, Underwater, Gretel and Hansel, and Spree. and then you still have extraordinary in there as
Okay,
sort of
you
a
can
honorable
erase
mention.
extraordinary, and you can bump spree, and just put this at like 5. And these are all gonna get moved around, but I just want to make sure I have the right like 10 in there.
I actually was going to ask this question. Right when we were wrapping up, I thought of it. I think this might be my favorite straight to Netflix horror movie we've seen. We've reviewed a lot of straight to Netflix stuff.
This could have been in theaters, I think.
Yeah. Well, if it wasn't fucking pandemic times, sure. But
I remember what it was. You're gonna hate me for this, Joe. I want to put 12-hour shift on it, but I don't know what I would kick because I don't have it in front of me. I have to look. Can you put it on there as an alternate, and I'll figure it out later.
I'm just gonna leave it off, and you'll forget about it. It'll be fine. Yeah, I'll put it down in the honorable mention.
Thank you, Joe. You know, Joe, I do appreciate you. Just so you know that.
Agree to disagree.
And Joe, we're rounding the corner here to the end times, I guess. The election's coming up, and it's almost the end of our Cameo special. Do you want to talk about what we're doing right now?
Yeah, so cameo.com/BG Horror. Just go to Cameo and search for Bloody Good Horror. We've had a ton of people send in requests, and it's been amazing because I love doing them. But we're donating all the proceeds this month to the League of Women Voters, which is an awesome organization that helps get people registered and all sorts of great things. So yeah, thanks to everybody that's sent in a request so far. This past week, I got probably my favorite one from one of our listeners, Chris. He just asked for a video for his wife just apologizing for something that he's going to do wrong in the future. Like, Chris said, like, we're not fighting right now, but inevitably I'm going to do something wrong. So can you just record an apology now?
I love that. That's amazing.
I can show her later, which was genius. So yeah, thanks everybody. And yeah, we got like about a week more of this.
Chris, Chris is next level thinking around his marriage.
Yeah.
The rest of us are just playing.
Keep that in the back
it's like
pocket.
checkers around.
Yeah.
So.
Genius.
It's been, the Cameo thing has been wildly successful. I think far more than we expected to. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't say way. Maybe you.
Okay.
I thought I could quit this fucking show by now, but here we are.
Joe's still disappointed in all of you. That's what he wants you to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't want to say that you're like trying to suppress people from voting if you don't send in a request, but
you might be.
You
might
kind of
hate
a fucking
the league.
monster.
You might hate women voting because of what we're donating to.
Exactly. It's not requesting something is the equivalent of going and like stealing a ballot box. Like you're those fucking assholes in Texas who have like one box for like the entire state. Like you're
like
part of that.
In California where they're putting out fake ones. Like you put out a fake one if you don't do this.
Yeah.
So they go to Cameo, search Bloody Good Horror. We've seen a lot more reports in the wild too of you showing up in Facebook generated banner ads that people are getting served.
I got a buddy who sent my I don't even think he knew I was on there.
Right.
And he got a fucking post and I was next to what's his name, William Hung.
Like could you imagine you don't like, let's say Joe, but you don't even know you have a podcast and you're just flipping through Facebook and you see that particular picture of you look like you look like Tim Meadows as the ladies' man, like with that glass of wine.
Thank you, ladies.
Yeah. Well, Valeska sent us one where I was next to remember that YouTube video about shoes? It was like like I was next to the person from that. Like it's weird, but here we are.
Just amazing. Go to Cameo and search Bloody Good Horror. Let's see. First up, Joe, Caitlin in Kissimmee. This is a follow-up to what happened to the person who found Joe's porn.
God.
Kid finds porn in a dumpster and gets possessed by a demon. Oh yeah, it's a Christian think piece. So I clicked on it. It's a YouTube link. It's called
an hour.
Well, it's
and
a movie.
half.
It's a movie. It's called The Lock-In. It's on YouTube. It is a Christian movie about a teenager who finds a porn stash and gets possessed by a demon.
What does he get locked into? Did you kind of unravel?
That's a great question.
Plot here?
I actually just clicked on it long enough to see how long it was and was like, I'm good. And I saw that.
Yeah, I did the same. I'm like, if this is 4 minutes, like I'll stick around. And then I saw it was like an hour and 20, and I'm like, absolutely fucking not.
Joe, okay, you know what I found on YouTube?
Oh.
So I was thinking about Christmas movies. I know this is sacrilege for me because I don't tend to do this, but I was thinking ahead. And I was like, one of my favorite Christmas movies, I haven't seen it in years, is Babes in Toyland, that bizarre 80s version they did with Keanu Reeves.
With Keanu Reeves,
and young Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
There is a full version of this movie on YouTube with 2 hours and 20 minutes with 80s commercials.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
All right.
yeah. I've got it queued up. I'm just waiting.
I'm in.
We'll watch that
November
after my
1st.
yearly viewing of A Very Brady Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm into that.
And
sure.
Emmett Otter's Drug Ban Christmas. Also, I'm done. It's Halloween. I'm done.
There ain't no hole in the wash tub.
Ain't no hole in the wash tub. So let's see. We got an email from Alyssa from the book club. Next week we'll be finishing up A Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay. And this November, I cannot say that guy's name seriously. And this November, the book club will be reading The Hunger by Alma Katsu. It's about the Donner Party. They were hungry, John, because they had no food, and then they ate each other. Also, a shout out to Andromeda, who made a really cool infographic for this month's book club selection.
I asked this question legitimate, but like, who is Andromeda? Like, I see she's on Slack.
She is a coworker and good friend of Alyssa's, who's also listened to Bloody Good Horror for a long time and has been a fan. And she joined Slack because she started doing the trivia night that you refused to do.
Like, oh yeah, I mean, I got stuff to do, and Andromeda might be my favorite listener ever. Like, she's like this mythical person that like people were talking about for weeks in advance, and then she just pops up randomly. Like, yeah, she's amazing.
She's a delightful human being, Joe.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we got into an argument the other day about something, I don't know, but like, she's amazing. Yeah.
She'll give it to you, Joe.
Yeah,
she'll give you the business.
Probably. She's fucking Andromeda. Her name's Andromeda. Like, I don't know how you argue with that.
Info Alyssa finishes up. We're on Goodreads at Bloody Good Horror, although most of the discussion, of course, happens on Slack. Hint, hint, non-patrons. And also the Twitter handle at BGH Book Club, XOXO. She signs it Gossip Alyssa. I don't know what that means, but I'm just going to read it. I want to be
just giving ourselves.
I want to honor her intention with that, John. I don't know why, what it means.
I'm sure it came from Slack somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we've mentioned enough that like it's $3 a month, right, to get like the Slack level. So you're in a pandemic. Like, you got nothing else going on. If you want to talk about fucking stupid shit.
In fact, we were doing. So we did this like other trivia thing, and there were some other people there that aren't like normal BGH listeners, and Whitney, one of our listeners, basically badgered them until they signed up and got on Slack, and they like hang out now. It's amazing. It's nice. The power of the community, Joe. It's really amazing.
Yeah.
Info.
Just a couple more badgers around here. We'd really be making. You know,
we need badgers.
Next level dollars.
Yeah, we need a street team, John.
Shout out Whitney though.
Yeah, no, it was a sight to see. It was pretty amazing. I mean, it's what she does for a living. So like
she's great. She's no Andromeda, but she's great.
Info at bloodygoodhorror.com. That is all for the emails, my friends.
You want to do tweets, or you just want to call it a night?
No, whatever you got. Like, it's your turn. It's your part of the show, Joe. Go nuts.
All right. I mean, usually there's some sort of intro, but I guess we've just gotten comfortable.
Are you kidding? I normally go, what's on Twitter and stuff. Like, is that an intro?
I mean, I guess.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Joe.
It'd be nice if there was like some music or something.
You gotta give him the 2-finger point.
The magnanimous.
It took me 11 years to get the fucking beer guts thing going. So, yeah, we're on Twitter at BG Horror. I'm gonna keep talking over you. I don't know what you're babbling on about. We're on Twitter at BG Horror. Every week we post up. Use the hashtag AskBGH if you want to send in a question about the movie or just let us solve your problems. First up from, or if you just want me to butcher your Twitter handle. Did people still use handle? Is that still a thing? Does anybody say handle anymore?
Handle. That's accepted.
Handle?
Yeah.
All right. At Guillotine Sale. I don't know. I'm
Jesus
sure it's
Christ.
Guillotine?
Guillotine.
How do you
Guillotine.
Guillotine? Is it Guill?
Yeah.
Is that
Yes.
it? That's guillotine?
Guillotine.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, Andromeda. Could we get more of Joe talking over his cameos? Double the Joe and you double the boners.
Wait, who said that?
This is when you
Sale.
played the cameo on the show, and Joe sort of narrated over the cameo.
No, I like that too, honestly. Like, yeah. No, I'm into it. Because
The
we can all
DVD
just
commentary
comment
of my
over it.
own video that like I recorded a day ago.
Director's commentary.
Erie, Arizona. What's the most offensive Halloween costume you've ever seen?
I once went as Kurt Cobain with a bullet hole in my head, which was pretty,
Oh my
which is
God.
pretty offensive. I had very long, like I had Kurt Cobain hair, so literally, I just needed the rest of it. Yeah, I mean it was like the early 2000s, John. People weren't very sensitive about those things at that point.
Yeah, that's up there. I don't know. I can't think of any. I'm sure there's some, but like.
Yeah.
I definitely don't. I can't think of one where I personally went as anything offensive, but I don't know.
What a letdown.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What a
Eric,
disappointing answer.
Eric had a good
I
answer.
think that was a pretty good answer.
Yeah, that's good. Our good buddy Adam Space Lawyer. Which universal monster would you choose to battle a city or borough? So I guess like which one would you choose to actually like invade one of these boroughs?
Interesting.
Like Wolfman, right? Like he's fucking batshit crazy. Like he'll just go in there and go fucking
he's just
Wolfman.
gonna tear shit up.
He's or I mean Dracula. Those are the two most deadly, I would say.
Yeah. Much as I love Frankenstein, he's not gonna catch anybody gawking through the Bronx. He's gonna get picked up for jaywalking or something.
And the creature, like, what the fuck? Like, he's not gonna do anything.
There is water. I mean, the Bronx has.
There's water, but like, hey, I guess maybe. What if it's the creature and he is attacking that Jar Jar Binks, like where he lived? Like he swims underwater and attacks that area. That's
There you
my
go.
answer. Next up from BJ Allen writes, if all music in the world, film scores, elevator tunes, church hymns, etc., was replaced with the 1992 song Enid by Bare Naked Ladies, how quickly do you think that we could achieve world peace?
Is that like a
I
deep
say
cut? What's
we'd get a global amnesty signed within a week.
is that a deep cut? What is that? Can you sing that? for me,
That
Joe?
is a very deep cut, and I am here for it. It is off like one of their earlier albums.
I don't know anything. I don't
It's
know.
Enid, you never really knew each other anyway.
I don't know that. I don't know
No,
anything.
I'm gonna have to look this
I don't
up.
know anything pre. First of all, anything in the radio or pre the old apartment, which is, by the way, a baller.
No, this
song.
is Gordon was the name of the album.
Yeah.
And it was like I want to say early '90s. Like it was pre that live album they had where they kind of blew up.
And
So yeah,
I'm pretty sure the song starts out with a drinking straw too.
yeah. No,
like
yeah,
in a
like-
soda cup.
Yeah, the first like 30 seconds or something are just like weird sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate it. I appreciate the question.
I do
I
too.
don't think we don't have an answer, but I appreciate it anyway. What is the most overrated regional fast food chain? In-N-Out, Whataburger, Five Guys, etc.
Is Five Guys regional? I was thinking about this the other day because
It's not. Five Guys is like fucking everywhere now. I
yeah,
mean, now,
they've basically been anywhere I've ever lived.
that's a really good question. I have heard so. I've never had this thing they refer to as Cincinnati chili, but it sounds disgusting and awful.
Skyline Chili.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
It looks even
Isn't
worse
that
than
just
it
one
sounds.
place though? And then there's like knockoff.
But no, well, like
versions
you
of
can
it?
get
No,
it.
there's franchises.
Yeah, I
No,
think.
yeah,
Okay.
there's
Okay.
multiple.
All right.
I haven't
We
even,
got-
see,
'cause we
that's
got
not even
Skyline all the
fair.
way over here in
That
Indy.
that's not even fair because I haven't had it, but I just can look at it and know.
Wait, was it burger place or fast food?
It just said
in
fast
general?
food.
Fast food
Yeah.
chain. Yeah. I don't know
Is
if I have
CC's
any that like.
regional CC's Pizza.
Oh,
We've
CC's
talked
No,
about
that's
is
this.
national.
garbage. It's
Is
like
it? Okay.
it's like salmonella in a
They
We
shut
had a
them all down at COVID. I assume. Like they're
Disgusting.
just all
Yeah.
shut down.
We had a
Yeah.
Jack in the Box. One of them open up in Indianapolis, and it lasted about 14 months.
I
and then
I ate
it
at a
was dead.
I ate at a Jack in the Box in Texas, and like I wouldn't say that I was impressed with it.
No.
My feeling is like any fast food, if you kind of know how to work the menu, you can have a good time.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I know how to work a good
No, it's like
the menu.
you kind of
necessarily,
know
but-
what you're getting, but like
Yeah.
but there are those things like, I mean, he calls out In-N-Out Burger. That's one of those things that people lose their shit over. So I think that's kind of what he's talking about, the overrated thing.
But it's,
Yeah.
I mean, In-N-Out is like, it's very good. It's not like,
It did.
you're not going to like transcend existence like when you
I
eat
finally
it.
got to try an In-N-Out burger when I went to Vegas last time, and I'd been looking forward to it forever. And it wasn't a bad burger, like John said. It was just like, well, that was done. I had that.
You know what
Yeah.
I don't like that I find not really that appetizing at all is Chipotle. Like it just doesn't do it for me. I don't know.
It's got its time and its place.
It's
I,
just
I
like-
don't eat it a ton,
it's
but I
pure-
like Chipotle.
I would rather
Yeah.
eat Taco Bell. First of all, second of all, like
Oh yeah.
like here's my problem with Chipotle. It masquerades as
Mm.
something fresher and healthier, but like, have you ever eaten there and felt good
Oh
afterwards?
no, it's awful.
You're
yeah,
just,
you might as well. be
feel
eating, like, Taco
disgusting.
Bell.
You feel like you want to die. You were like a desiccated human being from all the fucking sodium you just ate. It's like there's no part of it that's good.
No.
Some of
it's
our
not great.
bodies process sodium more easily than Eric's apparently. so-
Yeah. I mean, you're not of this world, Eric.
I mean,
Yeah.
yes, correct. You are correct.
Eric was 93% desiccated when he started. So.
Yeah.
It just put me over the edge.
I was big on Chipotle when I was lifting weights. Now, not so much.
I actually used to eat Chipotle a lot because it was around the corner from my old office,
It's just
and
not-
it was like a once a week situation.
Yeah.
And I didn't always feel great. I fully admit.
There was a
but-
place in Boston called Boca Grande or something that made amazing burritos. That's probably my favorite.
Did I go there with you? I think I went there with you.
No, you and I ate at I think the only time we ever ate together was at that Irish place down around the corner from me.
No, one time I came and met you I think it was like the first time I came to Boston. We went to a burrito place.
Interesting. Yeah, that's
Um,
where I would have taken you then. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like one of the first times I visited.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, I remember it being good. That was the place I discovered that you weren't a vegetarian, and I
Interesting.
insisted you were.
Well, no, I had been, and then after I moved to Boston, it kind of slipped.
You still are, from what I understand.
Yes. I mean, I only eat
Um,
chicken and fish stew. I might as well be a vegetarian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was it for tweets. Let me jump over to the Instagrams. We're on Instagram at Bloody Good Horror. Every Tuesday we just post up hey, send in your stupid questions. And here's a few we got. First up, and I don't usually give out the listener's name, but this one just refuses, much like Eric, to use the send in a question field, like actually type it in the field, and just sends it as a all up in my DMs. But I'll read it. Would you, all hosts please, rather have full is in all caps, full sex with David Bowie as the Goblin King, or Tilda Swinton as the psychoanalyst Dr. Joseph Kemper?
Oh my God. Oh, okay.
Klemper?
Listen.
Of
you c-
Suspiria 2018. And then goes on. At least you know Bowie is packing because of the glory of what adults collectively deemed appropriate for a child's fantasy film in 1986.
It's Bowie, first of all, because he's
Yeah, it's
fucking.
gotta be Bowie.
He's beautiful in that movie. And Tilda Swinton is just like an old, wrinkly man in that movie.
Yes. I was trying to think. I'm like, what character is that? And it's like, holy.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
mean,
a-
there's two other roles in Suspiria you could have picked Tilda from, and it would have been a better contest.
I think I'd still go Tilda.
I mean, I'm with Joe here. I mean, like, assuming you know it's Tilda Swinton underneath, but
Well, I'm saying like character-wise, like if we're talking specifically characters, like Goblin King's gonna want to do weird stuff to me. So I just prefer the old dude who like borderline might drop dead like mid-coitus.
You're just like, what's.
See, the Goblin King's gonna do weird stuff, but if you're gonna go in, you might as well go all in, right?
You're just like, what's Goblin
I
style?
do love Bowie. You guys are bringing me around on this.
Yeah.
Like, what is Goblin style?
Just a lot of unanswered questions. All
I'm
right,
still
here's
going.
a
I'm
few
still
more.
going, Bowie.
What is more important, body count, creative kills, or disturbing dialogue?
Creative kills. Is
Yeah,
to me.
that's what I went with.
It can't be one creative kill. This is where there's like a baseline of body count that you need to get to. And then it's like, all right, don't get gratuitous. Then you want the creativity. So
Yeah.
can I say both things?
No.
I don't know about the
Pick
dialogue.
one, Joe.
I'm not here for the dialogue. No, I'm kidding. It's a nice to have.
Favorite type of mustard?
Dijon.
Oh,
Dijon's pretty good.
Yeah.
Dijon.
Spicy brown's good.
Yeah,
too.
but like mixed with mayo, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really
I
want
mean, I like-
mustard unless there's also
I
mayo
celebrate all
present.
mustards, but
Well,
yeah.
I like it when I say Dijon. I want like a very spicy
You know what?
Dijon.
I'm taking that
like
back.
Grey Poupon.
No, I'm
Grey
going.
Poupon is very solid.
I'm
yes.
going honey mustard, but specifically like only the kind you get at a restaurant, because any honey mustard you buy in the grocery store is disgusting.
Weren't you the one bringing up ketchup in the restaurant too, being better or different somehow than
It's
other? Just like-
1000% is, and I will fight anyone who says different.
That's because it sit out all.
I could
sits out all day.
pick it. I could pick it out of a blind taste lineup.
Listen, I worked at a restaurant that had ketchup on the tables back in high school or maybe college. It's a tub. like we had a tub and you
That's
fucking
fine.
had to scoop
It's
it out and
different.
put it into
That's fine. It's different.
All right. Very
Yep.
good.
It's a tub of different ketchup.
So,
Best fashion choice for fall family photos. I
Like
went
a
with cardigan. I think a nice cardigan.
cardigan slash
is,
like with or without turtleneck, Joe. How far are we taking this?
Oh, whatever. It depends on your family. Like, if you're, just in the burbs, I would go without. If you're, John booting people out of their neighborhood that they've lived in their whole life, I would say go with the.
Are
I'm
you,
just-
Joe?
I'm straight flannel here.
Joe,
And
are
if
you-
you're if you are gentrifying, you're probably wearing flannel more than cardigan. The early colonizers in a gentrification situation are usually hipster types. So
Yeah, that's valid.
Yeah.
Joe, are you like a matching outfit family photo kind of guy?
We are not, but we are
That's the correct answer.
Disney World matching shirts.
Ah,
Like
okay.
the past 2 times we've gone on the cruise, matching shirts, and it's literally like a dream come true. It is all I've ever wanted since like we started a family.
Wow. Okay.
Christ, I feel bad. I don't think we've had a family portrait since Delaney was like an infant.
Yeah, we've never done one.
Yeah,
we've
she's
never
not our
done
jam.
a proper one. My wife is very interested in matching pajama photo, which like I basically said like, look, I will do nothing but put the pajamas on and show up.
Oh
If
yeah,
you
I'm
want
not.
to take care of this, I will participate.
I'm not
But
doing
you
it.
know.
I have
What
a.
a lucky lady your wife is.
Look, wait, hold on.
That's
I mean,
a step too far.
I actually feel like that's giving because I could just be like, "There's no fucking way I'm putting on matching."
That's true. Yeah, no, absolutely. She should
Put
be
down.
grateful that you can fucking put on like a shirt and bottoms and show up for her, like for the one thing she wants in this world.
Oh
She-
yeah, the one thing.
She
No.
deals with you disappearing into a room like once a week for 2 hours to talk to your fucking horror
Oh,
buddies. God
Take
forbid you put on
her aside
pajamas.
like you always do.
Joe, you are hardcore projecting right now. I just want you to know that. Oh,
Do you guys
God.
do new pajamas on Christmas Eve?
No.
No.
That's what she's aiming at though.
That's
She's-
Yeah, that's what we do. Everybody gets new pajamas on Christmas
Okay,
Eve. They're not
that's-
matching.
I take it back. That's the whitest thing I've heard all night.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, the problem, like, I sleep nude, so like my kids are old enough to know that like
Do you
dad's
really?
balls shouldn't be near the Christmas tree.
Do you really?
No, it was really just for the joke.
Okay.
I'm
God, thank you.
briefs.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it does sound like the whitest thing you've ever heard. But last year, Colleen got me Merry Christmas, the shitters full of pajama pants, so I was pretty happy.
That's not bad. Yeah. The only like Christmas Eve tradition we have is like I get blitzed and then try and put together the kids' toys. All right, we'll do this. This is one. They're both pretty much the same. Last one. Which date is scarier, 10/31 or 11/3?
Oh, 11/3 by far.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
In
Yeah.
fact, it actually really bugs me that they put 11/3 so close to fucking Halloween because on these years it's hard to separate those two things in my head. Like, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like the 10K when I was out running, I'm like, oh, fun decorated house.
Yeah.
Make America great again.
Like,
ah.
like legit. Let's put all elections in like March because March is a fucking garbage month that nobody likes anywhere. It doesn't matter where you
Yeah.
live. March sucks. So like, fuck it.
valid. And, I assume next year, or maybe 2 years, we'll be back to like a normal Halloween. And depending on how 11/3 goes,
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
Let's, I don't.
we
I'm not
could be dealing with
comfortable.
the repercussions for years. So.
I'm not comfortable talking with any kind of certainty about anything past 11/3.
Yeah.
So
So that's end on a high note. So yeah, we're done here. Next
Okay.
week we're doing the Witches, the reboot, right?
did we
The
vote?
witches.
Did we do the vote?
No,
no,
well, they're
we
coming out.
emailed- Yeah,
Yeah,
we
they-
had
they're
John had
coming
his
out.
dates wrong.
Oh,
The
perfect.
Witches comes out this weekend, and then the Craft comes out next weekend.
So this
there's
is
no
the
reason to choose.
Witches remake with what's her face there, you girl, Anne Hathaway.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
How's this coming out? Is this like an on-demand situation or is it streaming?
It's
forget.
on HBO Max, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
Love it. I'm excited. Yeah, so that'll
Sounds
be
like
this coming weekend. Our Patreon Halloween. What did you name this, Joe?
Zoomtoberfest or something like that. I don't know.
Zoomtacular, I think you said.
Zoomtacular,
Yes. Then Halloween, and then that time of year, Joe, when we all just gather around and hold each other because Halloween is over and it's time to be there for each other. Except for you, you just go on to your fucking Christmas nut job shit. I understand.
Yeah.
Like I get
November 1st, Hallmark movies start. I already like warned the kids that like especially since Halloween's on the weekend, like Sunday morning I'm getting up, taking down the fucking Halloween decorations and putting up the Christmas.
I should give you my mom's number, Joe, because I've been hanging out with her a lot lately, and she loves that shit. And like, you guys could talk about them.
No joke.
Like they're just gonna like hang and
my 67-year-old mother.
Leslie and I got a shipment from QVC of like Christmas decorations for the house on like Wednesday that apparently we ordered some night when we were high and didn't remember.
Oh my god!
Like, what the fuck are these figurines?
Oh,
I was like, I think we ordered those. It's good.
I mean,
that
Eric,
might
whenever
scare
you're
me
done
off
texting,
weed for
we're
a
good.
long time.
I don't know. I feel.
No,
I
they're
feel
great. There are.
I was texting
Joe, the house number plaque I sent you that's done in the style of the Haunted Mansion.
Oh yeah.
Definitely a product of high shopping.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And the funny thing is, they're the decorations. They're all African American. Because I think like when I ordered them, like I was particularly angry with my parents and Trump, so I'm like, "Fuck you, Black Lives Matter. I'm gonna order these."
Wow, Joe, it's a real journey here. I was texting Mark, Joe. You remember him?
I've heard of him. He rings a bell.
Same. All right, guys. That's gonna do it for Vampires versus the Bronx next week. The Witches. Hope you're enjoying your spooky time out there, and we'll talk to you soon.
See you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.